the guy next to me on the treadmill must have been like, what is this girl watching? And then part of me was also like, yo, you should watch this. This is really good. But I was like, I don't know. I was just like kind of shy, but also so into it.
Oh my God. I would have loved if you were like, let's watch together.
Imagine I just like I'm like, do you want an earphone? Do you want my
Yeah, it's a really good show. All right, welcome to Never Offside with Julie and Kat. But today it's just me, Kat. It's my first solo episode because it's our Olympic break, and we originally we were going to go dark for the Olympic break this first week for vacation. But we ended up booking the most epic guest ever, and I was still in town, so I am so excited that I got to do this with Sophie Nélisse. You all know her as Rose Landry from Heated Rivalry. She is just so much fun. She's from Montreal. I had so much fun talking with her about all things Heated Rivalry, all things cast, everything going on in her world. So here's my conversation with Sophie Nélisse. She is an award-winning actress from hit shows like Yellow Jackets, but right now we are currently loving her as Rose Landry on Heated Rivalry. So please welcome Miss Sophie Nélisse. Welcome, Sophie. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you grew up in Montreal, and Montreal is home. So I got to start with growing up in Montreal. Did you grow up a Habs fan?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been I have so many memories of like, when I was really young, I loved them, but I remember pretending to be even more interested just so that I could go to sleep a little later. I'd be like, no, Dad, just like one more period. And because my parents would watch it all the time. Or I remember like when there were previews between like the setups and stuff, I remember like watching my dad and not wanting like this next preview to be the time where he puts me to bed. So I would just watch all of the games with my parents, and then that's kind of what obviously pushed me to also play hockey for 3 years.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you played hockey. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I played. So I grew up doing competitive gymnastics, which is, I mean, we can get into it, but it's kind of how I fell into acting was to pay for competing abroad, and I was aiming for the last Summer Olympics, the 2020 Olympics, and yeah, so I was doing gymnastics, and then I still wanted to keep doing a sport after I'd quit gymnastics, and I went to soccer, and then all of my friends who played soccer in the summer all transitioned to hockey in the winter. And I had never skated in my life, like roughly on like an ice rink, but I never like actually put on like boy skates before.
Yeah.
Or hockey skates, I shouldn't say boy skates, just like hockey skates.
Yeah.
And I remember on the very first game, I think I fell on the ice like 13 times. My mom counted. And I would like I couldn't even break yet. So by the time I like reached one side of the arena, the rink, the entire team was already on the other side. So I was just like playing catch up the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
But I played the 3 solid seasons, and by the end we'd won I think it's called like the Dodgers Cup.
Okay.
I was like team assistant because I had really good spirit, and I loved it. Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. Well, that answers a couple fan questions about if you could skate. So that's awesome. So growing up a Habs fan, I love hearing this. Did you have any favorite players growing up or current favorite players?
I remember Price being like our ultimate goalie and being really sad when he'd retire. Mm-hmm. I have to say I'm not up to date on the players right now.
You're a little busy.
I do know there's like one that everyone keeps saying is really good, and he's like a short one. So he's like Cole
Caulfield.
Cole is great. I don't want to like for him. I don't want to say he's short, but he's
no. He knows.
Which we sometimes need on a team because they're fast and they're skilled and they're talented. Yeah. I think Cole Caulfield would be my favorite one right now.
Oh, he's great. He's so much fun. My husband played with him and he's a good friend of ours and he is just the most fun person ever and he's just
Yeah.
so fun to watch. So that's awesome to hear. What do you think of the Bell Center?
I mean, I just remember it as a place of being like so much fun, and I mean the crowd is always so great. I think that's what I love the most about Montreal is that we're like true fans to our core.
Hmm.
I remember the year when we almost lost the cup, which was like not that long ago.
Yep.
There was just something in the city that was outrageous. It was so wild. And what I also remember, oh my god, I also remember it has nothing to do with the Bell Center, but
No.
I remember going to this restaurant called Lactage au Sport, which used to give like wings for free when it was playoffs if they made it up to like a certain amount of goals. And then I remember like we were hardcore. Like my mom had the little flags, the Montreal Canadian flags that we put on the windows.
Oh my God, yes.
And we drive around in, and then we would all like honk at other cars that also had the flags. But yeah, I mean, I have great memories of the Bell Center. Like I've been able to watch games from a lot of different spots in the arena. Like I've been really close to the ice, and I've been really far up, and um, the sweet spot is kind of in the middle. Like
Yep.
being front row is kind of fun for like a few minutes because you see the players up close, but you don't really get the best sense of like the layout of like what's happening. So I
Yep.
kind of like being a few rows back, kind of in the middle. Yeah, it's
Love that.
fun.
It's just the most fun fan base ever. We loved it so much. So with all this fandom, what was it? What was your reaction when you read the script for Heated Rivalry? You know, being based in Montreal, and how did your family react? How exciting was that?
I mean, I was really excited to jump on board. I never read the books before, and I still haven't. I feel like now it's a bit hard to read the books because I'm like, I have the boys in my mind. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like too close to the scripts now
Yeah.
to be able to like enjoy the books as much. Um, but I mean, I remember first and foremost just loving every single character. They all had so much genuineness to them. And they were also like I like connected to all of them on like many different levels, and I just kind
Hmm.
of wanted to care for all of them.
Oh.
Um, but I also thought the script was so fun and thrilling and kind of kept me on my toes also the whole time. I'm not one to, I kind of am really low key with my family about what I'm going to do. I'm never like, everyone read the script, or like, everyone, I'm going to shoot this fun project. I'm kind of, they'll be like, what are you even doing right now? What project are you working on? I'm like, oh, just this like little thing. And then it ends up being
No big
really
deal.
good. Yeah. So, but I was definitely very excited. I was in conversations with Jacob, the director, about another project that we wanted to collaborate on previously. And while we were trying to get financing for that, he was like, I'm also doing this thing, and there's a small part for you if you want to hop on board. And they'd already started shooting and everything. Um, and I read the script, and I knew I was obviously in really good hands, and I was just very excited to. He was already raving so much about Hudson and Connor and Francois. I mean, I knew Francois already, so I was just like really excited to for my first day of shooting.
I was wondering the Montreal connection if you knew Francois already. So,
Yeah, well, Francois and I, funnily enough, we keep crossing paths. Like he was on the show I did called Yellow Jackets. He was on it, but we kind of briefly saw each other on set, but didn't share any scenes. And then it was the same for Heated Rivalry, and it's been the same for this other Montreal project that we did that were like both in it, but we never have any scenes. But it
mhm.
was definitely like reassuring to have a familiar face on set, and I mean also the fact that so much of the core of the show is set around Montreal. I mean, there's something that you just love when they mention a place, and you're like, oh, I mean, I go like shout out to like Bagel Saint Viator, who like
Mhm.
it's such like this Montreal staple. And it's like little hints and clues like that if you're like a Montrealer, you feel so seen and understood, and know like the specific vibe that they're going for. So that was really fun to see those sprinkled in the script.
I was going to say something that really resonated with me was, from living there, just Montreal is one of those cities that's so magical that you never know what's going to happen when you go out.
Yeah.
You can go out and you could meet the cast of an entire show and become besties by the end of the night. So I thought that when you guys met out, that's just such a Montreal story for the captain of the team to meet the famous actress, and you're all playing poker with the beautiful snow falling by the end of the night.
Yeah, it's definitely something I love the most, especially in the summer. It's like going out, you really never know where the night is going to take you, and I'm always like, do it for the plot. Like, I just meet people and I follow them, and then you wake up and it's like 4, like 7 a.m. and you're like, what? I had no idea this is what the night was going to bring me. And you will, like, you will end up falling on. I mean, it might not always be someone that's like in the, like a sports player or like an actress, but you do stumble upon those because, I mean, I go out and people meet me and they're like, oh my God, I see you in the show. Like, it's so weird to just see you out in real life. And I'm like, yeah, because we're normal people and we like to dance and we like to have fun and we like to go to Parc Jean Drapeau and listen to music. So yeah, we're all around.
So did you have any input on kind of the vibes of Montreal, like in the script at all, or like in those scenes that you were in?
I mean, Jacob had a pretty good, like, he's also from Montreal, or I don't know if he's from Montreal or has lived in Montreal for like ages. So, I mean, I didn't feel like there was much input that I needed to give. But just like, I think we were both on the same wavelength, and there's like, Jacob says that there's like the scene when we're all at the club and we're dancing and, they're both dancing with other girls, and he was like, it is like a rite of passage. You're like, and you're not a true Montrealer if you've never been left in a bar heartbroken. Like, we've all been there, and we've all had our crush make out with someone else in front of us at a bar, and I was like, there's something that hits so close to home in that scene, and I just think he really hit the nail on the head with every scene that had to do with Montreal and its community, and yeah, I didn't feel like I kind of wanted to step back and let him do his magic.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of that scene, it was just so fun and chaotic, and so much going on. How long did that scene take to shoot?
An entire day, because there were so many moving pieces. It was my first day on set, which is a wild scene to come into. Because I'm like making out with Hudson and we like literally never introduced ourselves. And it's like dancing, and that's something that's like also just having so many backgrounds, and it's something that I always get like a little self-conscious of, because you're all often also like, we have music on the day, but like sometimes you're like faking doing the scene louder, and you're like, or you're moving to no music, and it looks weird. It looks so much weirder when you shoot it than when you see it. It looks really cool when you see it. So yeah, I was like, it was a little nerve-wracking, but I mean, never in my life have I come onto a set, especially like midway through the process, where I felt so welcomed and it felt so familiar and like home. And Hudson was just so caring and like funny at the same time. Like, there was this like immediate connection that I was like, oh, this is actually going to be so fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot. I mean, what really makes those scenes so great are like the moments, like all of the eye contacts, which are, and that is like hard to capture, because you need to shoot like a lot, and just to make sure that really all of those beats land, and that they're all kind of like different, and that you see like a progression within them.
Okay.
So yeah, there were definitely a lot of different setups and like tiny beats that we wanted to get. So it took an entire day, but it definitely, yeah, it was a really fun scene to start with.
The music, all the music on the entire series, it's just so great. I call it one of the characters. It's the music, in my opinion. Do those songs get stuck in your head as they do everyone else in the world right now?
Yeah, I mean, especially the clubbing scene, I like literally can't get it on. The one for me that has been on repeat, and I'm like, I can't. I'm not that I would be driving with my windows open right now because I'm in Montreal, but um, the one song is the one when he calls him on the ice in episode 3, and then they have
Mhm.
like their big kissing scene. That song has me in tears every single time I listen to it, but it's so good. And I'm literally driving and I'm blasting it full on in my car. And I'm like, if anyone knew, like, I would look so conceited if I was playing like the soundtrack from my own show. And I never do that. Like, I have a hard time watching myself on screen. I have a hard time. Yeah, but it's just I'm obsessed with the score.
Mhm.
Also the finale song when they're like driving out on the highway. That one's also been on repeat. It's a great playlist.
Now I have a funny visual of you getting seen with with the music blasting.
Oh, I would be so embarrassed. I would be so embarrassed, but also not because I'm like, it's a great song. What can I say? But yeah, it's been really amazing to see the response of like other artists that have watched the show. Like I think of Gracie Abrams that I'm absolutely obsessed with. That is like a fan of the show, and I'm like, I listen to you every day. I can't believe you've like seen my face on your screen.
Oh, I mean, I think I saw, was it like Miley Cyrus said that she wanted to maybe
Yeah,
do
that would be iconic. It would be iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm very curious to see where you guys go all over season 2, but you know, with all these people wanting to be involved, that's so cool. So another scene that obviously was so powerful was you guys sitting down at the restaurant and just how beautifully you guys navigated that scene of just making Shane feel so comfortable coming out to you. We had so many of our listeners send us really nice messages about how much that meant to them, that scene especially. So what does that mean to you? What did that scene mean to you? And how did you and Hudson prepare for it?
I mean, it was a really important scene, obviously, and I think, like, I remember when I used to watch, and still to this day, watch movies and TV shows. What really resonated with me was seeing characters on screen that represented what I'm going through or versions of myself, and I felt like I could connect to. And I think that's something so powerful about the medium that I get to do with my art is that I'm able to give a voice or make people feel a little less isolated and feel like they can relate to my character or to mine or Hudson's. And so to feel like I can have that, like, even if it affects one person, but to feel like I can make the tiniest bit of difference, like, to me, I feel so grateful and I feel lucky that I can make that difference. Yeah, so when we saw how well the audience connected to that scene and how it resonated with them, I was very touched and emotional and happy because we all need someone like Rose in our life. I mean, we all keep a lot of things bottled up inside, and I think, I mean, as individuals, it's really easy to feel very isolated in our emotions and what we're going through and feel like no one can really understand. And it's hard to be the one that kind of makes the first move, because you never know how that can be perceived. And so that she sees him for exactly who he is and loves him unconditionally is like the most generous act of like human kindness that you can have. Like, loving someone unconditionally, it's just to find those people in your life that will accept you no matter what is so precious and so special. And so I think we both wanted that scene to feel very honest, very real. I remember actually we didn't even, because what happens usually is you'll run the lines once, like you'll like rehearse it often before like actually doing a take.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Hudson and I share a very similar sense of humor where we like kind of mess around a lot and just shoot shit at each other. And so we kind of just did the scene and we changed almost like all of the lines. Like we kind of, we just like were having fun with it and we're like bantering, but we weren't actually saying the scripted lines. And I remember all of the cast, the crew being like, where's this going? And like them being like, what is this take gonna look like when they start doing this? Like we actually have not rehearsed.
Oh wow.
Ran it the first time and it just felt somewhat so easy. Hudson was so generous in his performance and just watching his inner struggle and watching him tear up and feel how conflicted he was, I mean, made me almost tear up naturally. And there was just this great sense of we both really listened to each other, and something that Jacob mentioned to us before doing the take, he was like, don't be afraid of the silences, of the moments of stillness. I think support sometimes can actually be quite quiet. And so, yeah, I think we just wanted it to feel as, you know, just like a river flowing. And it really, it is like the magic kind of just appeared very, very naturally. Obviously, then we like did more and more takes. But yeah, there was something that just felt effortless about shooting that scene.
Seemed the word magic, definitely. Where do you see Rose going in season 2? Are there any spoilers, or do you just have your own theories right now?
I don't know. Again, I haven't read the book, and I know she's in the future books, but mostly in forms of like phone calls. And I think Jacob and I have talked about it being more of like an in-person relationship, because it would be weird that she's a character that will evoke such a turning point in his life, and for her to like kind of just disappear would feel a bit odd. And so, yeah, I think, I mean, the same way I'm Hudson's like biggest fan and cheerleader, I want Rose to be that for Shane. I want her to be like her biggest support system. I mean, obviously with the help of his family, but like, I just want her to be there and cheering him on, like still going to his games, still being that safe space that he feels like he can confide into. So yeah, I think they'll stay very close, and maybe he'll be the one that he can kind of let his guard down and share his deepest secrets with.
Love it. Okay, so another thing about this show is, I'm sure you've seen there's stats about how this got so many new people into hockey. And it really just took the sport by storm, and it really welcomed so many new hockey fans, I would say. So what have you seen of that? And being from Montreal, how cool is that for you?
I haven't, to be fair, I have been a little offline. Like I've been posting a lot on Instagram, but I've deleted the app just because sometimes.
Wow, that's
hard. Yeah, but I don't know. It's really good for my mental health sometimes. Yep. I think you just get flooded with so much content that doesn't really always matter.
That's discipline. I'm jealous. That's discipline.
I mean, I will like now and then go on my computer and do my research, but I just like, yeah, so I'm not like that aware of like everything that's been happening. But I mean, I'm such a fan of the sport. I think it's like, I don't know, it's a sport that like I was literally talking about that with my sister the other day. Like, soccer for me sometimes can be like a little too slow to watch, and then like basketball is like, they're scoring too often that it kind of is not that exciting. Whereas like hockey has that perfect balance of like, there's not too many goals, so it really keeps you on edge and on your toes. And it's just like a sport where the fan base like cheers so loud. And I was at a game like 2 months ago, and like literally every time there's like, everyone like gets up and jumps, and like you'll turn to your neighbor that you have no idea who he is, but you'll like hug your neighbor. Like, it's just so electric being in the crowd. So if more people can get the chance to live that and to go through all of those like roller coaster of emotions that is a game. And obviously, I mean, it's like such a staple to the Montreal community. So if there's more Habs fan, I'd be happy. If then they go and they were fans of like the LA Kings, like whatever, choose your team, it's fine, it's fine. But obviously, I'm like, as long as it's not Maple Leaf, because then I'm like, that's our competitor.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, and especially with, I mean, I think it's great, especially with the Olympics coming up. I mean, Canada has such a strong female hockey team as well. Like, it's been really amazing to see a sport that has really shined through for like women. And I think we're so proud of them. So if it can attract, you know, more of a women-based audience to start enjoying the sport, I think that would be really cool too.
Very much. You've been part of a huge hit show, Yellow Jackets. So I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, so apologies. But when you were shooting Heated Rivalry, did you have any like thoughts of this is going to just pop off and go crazy?
I mean, not really. I mean, I think we knew that what we were holding was something very special, and I think we knew we were in the best possible hands with Jacob, and if someone was going to make a hit show, it would be him.
Yep.
But I think that's not ever something, or at least not for my part, like, not something I think about when I take on a role or I start a project. I don't come in with, like, a set of expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I knew was that it was a story that really needed to be told, and I think we never really gotten the opportunity to see before. So I knew it'd be really refreshing for the audience, and just a story that, you know, inspires so much hope and lightness that I think we really need to see right now, because the world is a very scary and depressing place right now.
Agree.
So it was like so much fun to see members of that community coming out as like heroes, and we knew they'd become such a big inspiration for people. But the overnight success that it's known, I've never really seen anything quite like it. I don't think any of us were prepared.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Obviously, we're all like thrilled and excited and happy, but it's very overwhelming at the same time. So yeah, I think we're all kind of taking it day by day.
When was the aha moment? Like the aha moment, this just went out of control. Like, was there a moment? Like, because it started, but it seems to keep getting more and more popular, you know?
So, I mean, that's the thing. I feel like we were getting effervescence of it before it was even out. Like, I remember when I went and did, I think I knew it was going to be really good when I went out and did post-production on it, which is where you have to kind of redo certain voices and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is really good. Like, I was watching the scene and I was like, it's really rare that I'll watch a scene I'm in and I'm like, oh, this was fun.
Yeah.
And I had that thrill, and I remember sending a voice note in the group chat to like Jacob and Brendan and Connor and Hudson and me. I'm like, you guys have created something magical. And I'm like obsessed with the show as if like I'm its biggest fan.
So
and
cool.
So I kind of, and we, like there was talks that started happening around the show, and there was a certain buzz that was already there. And then it came out, and I remember like a week later, I happened to be in Vancouver and shooting a film, and I went and had lunch with Hudson, and he'd already had like 500,000 followers, and I was like, dude, you're like, like, I was like, it's been a week. And yeah, the amount of like the following that he already had, and all of the reviews and everyone talking about it, but it really feels like it keeps surpassing itself like week by week.
Yeah.
And then getting like calls from my team in LA being like, everyone's talking about it. And then Hudson and Connor, and I mean, everyone just like the press that they've done for it, and seeing, you know, the brands that have approached them, like I mentioned earlier, like the Michelle Williams of this world, like watching the show, and like Pedro Pascal, like it's just, I think it's when I started seeing like, yeah, actors and directors that I'm such a fan of that have watched it. I'm like, oh, this is getting seen.
Yeah.
Like within members of like the industry, not just like I mean, not that it matters who's watching, like,
Yeah.
but it's just really like actors that I've put on such a pedestal and that I admire so much that I've sat down and watched the entirety of the show, and like people just writing me all the time, like so many friends, colleagues, people of the industry that are like that are now reaching out, and they're like, we love it, and it's just every time I'm just like, thank you.
So cool.
Yeah.
I mean, all the cool opportunities coming you guys' way and just, like so many good things coming your way. How do you react when the guys are like, hey, we just got asked to bear the Olympic torch in the Olympics?
I mean, I'm so happy for them because they, like, if anyone could have that opportunity, I'd want it to be them. There's nothing I would do differently. Like, they're truly the most, like, grounded, genuine, like, heartfelt humans I've ever met. And they work so hard. Like, they absolutely gave it their all without any ego, without any pretension. There's no sense of, like, competition on set. And their chemistry on screen is a replica of what they have in real life, and they're two humans that want the best for each other and for everyone around them. And so I'm like, if anyone deserves this kind of like attention and like recognition, it's them. Like, I would give them everything. Like, it's really, I am really like Rose. I'm like, I'm their biggest supporter. So I just feel so happy that they're getting all of this love, and I love that they're staying grounded through it all. I saw Hudson last week in Ottawa, and like it felt like it wasn't an in go to his head, which is something that can happen, especially when it's so overnight and someone's not equipped to deal with all of that kind of rise to fame. We were both just in our like sweatpants and like grabbing lunch, and it felt like the very first day that we met. So just to see how humble he still is, and probably Connor as well. Like, I haven't had a chance to catch up with him recently, but yeah, I'm really happy for them.
Oh, I mean, another thing that was crazy was the Prime Minister of Canada with you guys in the fleece.
I know. And just like stating my name in a sentence in a way that felt so casual, like just name drop, like, and Sophie, congrats. And I was like, what? He's so chill.
Yeah, what was that as a proud Canadian? What was that like for you?
A bit surreal. Like, and it's not something I ever thought I would have a chance to say. I remember texting my friends, and they were like, where are you in the world right now? I was like, in Ottawa. They're like, what are you doing in Ottawa? I was like, meeting the Prime Minister. And they're like, wait, how are you dropping this so casually? And like, how did we not get the memo? I mean, it was a bit like scary because I will say I'm not like most versed in like all of the politics of like how we run a country. And so I was like, I'm like, do I even want to try to say something smart? I don't think so. But I also don't want to be like, hey, the weather in Canada, right? You know what I mean? It's like, what do I say that's like in between?
So what'd you say?
So nice, and yeah. And I talked to his wife, whom I think she played hockey actually, and I think her girls did as well. So yeah, we all bonded over our love for hockey.
So cool, and just so funny, the photo op with Hudson and his leg up on.
Yeah.
That was really, really good. My husband right now plays for the San Jose Sharks, and their vibes are just hilarious. They're silly, they're unhinged, they're a mix of veterans and rookies. And when I think of your entire cast, I kind of think of that exact same vibe as we've got going here. So I know you've talked about the guys, but like, can you just overall behind the scenes cast vibes? What was it like?
It was very unhinged. As you can tell, Hudson has no filter. I will say I'm a little bit more when it comes to like press and the way I put myself out in the world. I'm a little bit more poised than he is. But if you get to know me, and this is why Hudson and I are so close, I am very unfiltered and unhinged, and I have a very dark, twisted sense of humor. And so the jokes on set were wild. Jacob as well is like the other day, like literally the other day when we were in Ottawa, they sat us down to have this like meeting before meeting the Prime Minister, being like, these are the rules and these are the guidelines. And the poor PR girls were like, guys, we've been here for 45 minutes and we've gone through one question because you guys keep fucking around and you guys keep like joking and not that we're not like not taking this seriously, because we're all very professional, and I think when it's like action on set or when we know we have to like do what we do best, like we can flip a switch and we're on it. It was so fun. Connor obviously has to do this Russian accent, and I did a movie where I had to have a Polish accent. So Connor and I were always talking with our accents, and we were like full on like, yeah,
that's so fun.
Russian, Polish. So we had a lot of fun with that. And yeah, it's like before even the success of the show, like I remember rapping and telling my team, I was like, this is the funnest set I've ever been on. Like, truly the funnest set. And I would do this for free. Like, this does not feel like... This is what I remember loving about shooting. I was like, I cannot believe I get to do this as a job. Like, I cannot believe that this is, like, a day's work. Because it literally feels like this is what I would want to do for fun. Like, if I had a day off, I would spend the day with these people messing around. Jacob, I've never seen something like it. Like... wrote this show, created this show, directed this show, and yet feels like all of our best friend. And I was like, I don't even understand how you're running a set right now that is like on time, that is like getting their days in, and between takes, we're just like shooting shit at each other and bantering, and like he's serious when he needs to be, but I was amazed because I was like, you make directing look so easy because it looks easy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he was exhausted, but it never felt like it. And yeah, it felt like what you would think coming out of like doing like a film school film would look like, but with actual professional like crew and cameras and budget. But it all felt like we were just doing it for like the fun of it.
I mean, it literally sounds like a successful hockey team. Like it just sounds like the vibes, because that sounds, not to bring it to hockey, but like just when the vibes are good, the chemistry is insane. Mm-hmm. So, and when, especially just when they're having fun. So I feel like you guys having fun just really brings that home. The social media on the show was something I was wondering, how were you guys doing that while the show was shooting? Like, it seemed like they were doing like sit downs with you, and like, is that normal?
It's become more and more of a thing. They do it on Yellow Jackets as well. I mean, because of how social media now is so predominant in our industry, I think it's something that the networks feel like they have to keep. I mean, it's the way to promote the show nowadays. Which has its pros and cons. I think it's something that, like, when it started, everyone was kind of trying to push back. And, I mean, it's not really what we as actors signed up for, is to, like, run social media at the same time and feel like we have to promote something on our platforms. But unfortunately, it's how you get the word around nowadays. So I think now we're all kind of on board with it. But yeah, so usually they'll send someone that's their, like, job, is to come on set and do some behind the scenes, create content, make us do all those little TikTok trends. So whenever we have like a minute that we're not like shooting a scene or like between setups, they're like, hey, can we pull you for social media content?
Yeah.
And then we'll do it.
I mean, it was cool though how they captured and were able to show like the guys watching the scene in episode 3. Did you see like, their reaction crying to the scene on the ice? Like, I felt like that was to Scott
I
Hunter.
know.
Yeah.
I don't think I was there that day, or maybe I wasn't. I wasn't aware that that's what was being shot, and I wish
Yeah.
I was. I wish I would have. But then again, there's something really magical about being. It does, like, once you see it. I mean, it would have been magical anyways, but it's something that I really love about this show is because there's so many scenes I'm not in and I'm not so central to the story. I get to watch it the way the audience would. And because, like, it's always weird. Like, I have a hard time enjoying Yellow Jackets because I'm so close to it. I'm in every scene. I'm not in every scene. I don't know why I said that. But, like, I'm in a lot of scenes where I feel like I can't enjoy it because I know the story. I know what's about to come. Like, I've shot it, so it always feels a bit weird once it's edited. I'm like, oh, that's not what I had in mind. But so for this, all of the cottage stuff, I wasn't there. And so I really got to go through the full roller coaster of emotions when watching the show, and, like, real tears. Like, I remember in the gym, I was like walking on the treadmill, and I'd read the scripts, but I guess I don't know what I was thinking when I, like, opened the first episode, and it was like hardcore going at it. And I had set my iPad, and I literally almost didn't bring earphones that day to the gym because I was, like, at a hotel and there was never really anyone using the gym, so I was like, nah.
Yeah.
And luckily I did because someone came in and was walking on the treadmill next to me, and I started the show, and then obviously it gets in there pretty quickly.
Real quick.
And then I was like, wait, what do I do? Because I'm so invested in this, and I cannot, like, this is my reason to live right now, but also the guy next to me on the treadmill must have been, like, side-eyeing me and been like, what is this girl watching? And then part of me was also like, yo, you should watch this. This is really good. But I was like, I was just, like, kind of shy, but also so into it.
My God. I would have loved if you were like, let's watch together.
You know? Imagine I just, like, I'm like, do you want an earphone? Do you want my
It's a really good show.
But yeah,
it's giving, like, airplane vibes when someone on an airplane is watching, like, a little
but I was live commenting my reactions to Hudson and Connor, like, after the first. I was like, I would, like, press pause and I'd be like, no, this scene, you guys, the eye contact, this, da da da. And then
so cool.
in Francois' scene, I remember, like, sending him voice notes on Instagram, like, or, like, actual videos of me sobbing and being like, I'm so unwell, like, this is the best TV show ever.
Aww.
Like, you're so good in it. I was, like, giving my live reactions to the boys.
That's so cool. So do you have do you have a favorite scene outside of any of yours?
It's the finale. It's episode 3 it's episode 4 when he brings him on the ice. Like, that whole montage when he brings him on the ice, kisses him, and then it cuts to, like, their reaction, and then it's like I'm coming to the cottage. Like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's the perfect ending. That one and the scene where Hudson is, like, having a panic attack at dinner with his family, and, like, Connor, I should say Elia and Shane, but, like, Elia is, like, just so soothing and comforting, and he's like, it's okay, your family's here, your boyfriend's here, and then he just looks up. Oh, yeah, I guess. Like, it's just, like, it's so real. Like, it's, I felt it, like, in my bones. Like, I felt it in my core. Like, so good.
What do you think, I was thinking about this watching, what do you think Shane's mom, Yuna and Rose would be like together?
I think they need to be besties. I think we need to see them in this next season, and they're, like, allies. And they're both, like, because I think they would be really good friends. Now that it's out in the open and they can talk freely. Yep. Yeah, I think they'd be really close.
That's kind of what I thought. I was like, they got to become besties because they're both, like, his, biggest fan. So I love that. Okay, I'm going to shift real quick to a little game I thought of about your cast members. And now knowing that you played hockey and you're a hockey fan, this is great. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions of your cast, not the characters, the cast members. and what they would be if they were in the actual hockey world, if that makes sense. Okay, so who knows the most hockey terms, like terminology?
Oh, I would say Jacob, because he's probably had to do his like fair amount of research.
Yeah. Well, is there a most improved like cast member who like learned more about hockey during this all?
I'm not sure. I would say Hudson really does his homework. So maybe Hudson.
Okay. Who would have the best goal celebration?
Connor. Yeah.
Could see that all his dances he's been doing. Who would be the most scrappy in a hockey fight?
I think Francois. I would be scared of him. If Francois got mad, I would be terrified of him. I think he would let his gloves down.
Who would crush it the most on Skating with the Stars?
I want to say Francois because I think he's the most skate agile, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was dying. I saw the interview of Connor Hudson talking about how they like couldn't really skate.
Yeah. Not that well. So I think it'd be Francois because he actually kind of knows how to skate a little more. Makes
sense. Who would be the best coach other than Jacob?
Does it have to be cast? Because our producer Brendan would be. He's like a dad, and he's very caring, and he can be like very cutthroat, but also very sweet and caring. And I think Brendan would be a great coach.
Who would have the best chirps?
What are chirps?
Who would talk the most shit on the ice?
Hudson. Definitely Hudson.
Who would be the best team social media manager?
Maybe Hudson. He wouldn't care, and he'd make like really funny content.
Now I want to hear Hudson's chirps. I would love to hear that. Okay, we got a ton of fan questions, but a lot of them just had a lot of them were just about how would you feel if the Heated Rivalry cast in a situation like Yellow Jackets? So yeah. I guess that's kind of the question. Like how would the cast fare in that situation?
Ooh. I think we would do pretty well. Like everyone's so supportive of each other. Mm-hmm. Like I think it wouldn't go down such a dark path as it has with like the soccer team of girls. Like I think they just went at it and like are very cutthroat. But I feel like they would maybe kind of build like a nice little community and actually kind of thrive out there.
Yeah, help each other.
Yeah.
It's funny now knowing that you played soccer and hockey and you were part of these two big shows. Like that's like...
I know.
Well, Sophie, thank you so much for joining Never Offside. I had so much fun chatting. You were such a pleasure. I can't wait to see you hopefully in Montreal, and hopefully you can come back on the pod and we can chat more. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure to talk with you.
What an amazing guest for my first solo pod. You can't get any better than someone like her. She's just so sweet and so easy to talk to. And if you haven't seen Heated Rivalry, go check it out on HBO Max and on Crave in Canada. Unfortunately, I had all these quick hitters for her, but we had some technical difficulties on my part. So I didn't get to ask her so many amazing questions about just herself and Montreal. So again, I know we said this on the last pod, but we will be trying to check in from Milan next week during the Olympics, and hopefully we'll get a couple people kind of giving us the rundown in Milano. So please look forward to that next week per normal schedule. And in the meantime, you know what to do. This is normally Julie's line, but like, subscribe, comment, follow Never Offside Pod on Insta, and have a great week.